This is how I would grow $1,000 with Fintech in 2025. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I am a self-made millionaire, and on this channel we talk about all things personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship. So if you enjoy those topics, then make sure to subscribe to be notified when we post new videos. I have $1,000, and I want to grow it as much as possible. I would deposit my money into a high-yield savings account. I would keep 3 months of emergency savings in cash at all times, so I would set aside $300 for that, and then I would invest the remaining $700. I would take the $700 and I would split it between 2 different index funds. If you don't know what a 401k is, it's basically an employer-sponsored retirement plan. So let us assume that I get a job that offers a 401k matching contribution of up to 4%. What that means is that if I contribute 4% of my salary to my 401k, my employer will also contribute 4% of my salary to my 401k. The first one would be SPY, which is an S&P 500 ETF. For the purpose of this video, we say that it has a 1.5% dividend yield. So after 1 year, I would have earned $15.75 from my ETH and $10 from my BTC. So now I have more crypto than I started with. Then I would take my 27.4 ETH and my 26.3 BTC, and I would deposit it back into Uniswap, and I would continue earning yield. Now if I wanted to sell my crypto, I could sell it here on Uniswap, but I'm not gonna do that. That's $670.85, and by the end of year 4, my $1,000 would have grown to $2,740.52. I'm actually going to keep my crypto in the DeFi ecosystem and continue earning yield. That means that every year I would receive a dividend payment from SPY of $10.5. If you're looking for a more traditional approach, then the first 2 options might be right for you. If you're looking for a more risky approach with potentially higher returns, then the last 2 options might be right for you. I would reinvest all of the dividends back into SPY. Then I would buy VTI, which is a total stock market ETF. The first way was the traditional route where you deposit your money into a high-yield savings account. Keep 3 months of emergency savings in cash, and then split the rest between 2 index funds. In this scenario, my $1,000 grew to $1,417.61 after 4 years. The second way was similar to the first way, except that I also maxed out my 401k contributions in this scenario. My $1,000 grew to $2,217.20 after 4 years. The third way was to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin and then deposit it into a decentralized exchange and earn a yield. In this scenario, my $1,000 grew to $1,670.85 after 3 years. And the fourth way was similar to the third way, except that I continued earning yields for 1 more year. In this scenario, my $1,000 grew to $2,740.52 after 4 years. For the purpose of this video, we say that it has a 1% dividend yield. So every year, I would receive a dividend payment from VTI of $7. I would reinvest all of the dividends back into VTI. I'm going to go over 2 ways that I would do that. The first way is with traditional finance, and the second way is with alternative or decentralized finance. This video is not financial advice. These are just my opinions and for entertainment purposes only. The first way I would grow my $1,000 would be the traditional route. So now we've accounted for how I would spend and invest my money each year. But we have unaccounted for inflation. Inflation is the decrease of purchasing power of a currency over time. The following year, my account would look like this. From SPY, I would have made $47.5 in capital gains and $10.50 in dividends, and from VTI, I would have made $29.75 in capital gains and $7 in dividends. After accounting for inflation, my total return would have been $87.22. In year 3, my account would look like this. From SPY, I would have made $74.63 in capital gains and $10.50 in dividends, and from VTI, I would have made $59.25 in capital gains and $7 in dividends. After accounting for inflation, my total return would have been $151.38. In year 4, my account would look like this. From SPY, I would have made $100.47 in capital gains and $10.50 in dividends. And from VTI, I would have made $88.88 in capital gains and $7 in dividends. After accounting for inflation, my total return would have been $206.85. So after 4 years, my initial investment of $1,000 would have grown to $1,417.61. Let's assume that there is a 2% inflation rate per year. What this means is that the value of $1,000 today will be worth $980 next year. So now we need to account for that in our model. In year 1, I would put $700 into SPY and 0 shares of VTI because I would have used up all of my money. Now what happens if I max out my contributions to my 401k? So let's assume that I make $50,000 per year and I contribute 4% of my salary to my 401k, which is $2,000. My employer matches that contribution dollar for dollar. So that's another $2,000 every year. I would contribute a total of $4,000 to my 401k. Now, my account after 4 years. This would look like this. From SPY, I would have made $105.10 in dividends, and from VTI, I would have made $35 in dividends. After accounting for inflation, my total return would have been $140.20. So after 4 years, my initial investment of $1,000 plus the $4,000 that I contributed to my 401k would have grown to $2,217.20. Let's do a quick recap. So far, we've looked at 2 different ways to grow your $1,000. The first way was to deposit it into a high-yield savings account, and then split the money between 2 index funds, SPY and VTI. In this scenario, my $1,000 grew to $1,417.61 after 4 years. The second way was to deposit my $1,000 into a high-yield savings account, and then I also maxed out my contributions to my 401k. In this scenario, my $1,000 grew to $2,217.20 after 4 years. So now we're going to move on to part 2 of the video, where I share with you the second way that I would grow my $1,000. This way is going to involve more risk, and it's going to be in the world of cryptocurrency and decentralized finance. If you don't understand something, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll try my best to respond to all of the comments. I would take my $1,000, and I would split it into 2 parts. $500 I would buy Ethereum, and with the other $500 I would buy Bitcoin. I would buy 0.25 ETH and 0.25 BTC. Then I would deposit my crypto into a decentralized exchange called Uniswap, and I would lend it out to earn a yield. I would use a service called Zarian to track my portfolio. So here you can see I have my Ethereum and my Bitcoin, and then I also have these other tokens. These tokens represent the yield that I'm earning from lending out my crypto. Let us assume that my 0.25 ETH is earning me a 6% annual yield, and my 0.25 Bitcoin is earning me a 4% annual yield. So after 2 years, my 0.25 ETH would have grown to 0.274 ETH, and my 0.25 BTC would have grown to 0.263 BTC. Now, I woe and go through the entire simulation again, but by the end of year 3, my $1,000 would have grown to 1. Let's do a quick recap. So far, we've looked at 4 different ways to grow your $1,000. As you can see, there are many ways to grow your money. It really depends on your risk tolerance, time horizon, and financial goals. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Until next time.